In the quiet depths of the human soul, where shadows wrestle with light, there lies a force, an unyielding strength that few dare to cultivate. It is not the strength of muscles or the roar of dominance, but the silent, unshakable power of the mind. This is the strength of the Stoic. It is not given. It is forged in the fires of adversity, tempered by self-discipline, and polished by the relentless pursuit of virtue. Let us walk this path together, you and I, and uncover the signs that reveal the Stoic strength within you. Recognizing these signs, we awaken the dormant giant within, the one who can face life's chaos with unbroken resolve. Number 1, you are a lifelong learner. A Stoic understands that life itself is a vast and continuous classroom, where every experience, good or bad, serves as a lesson. You do not seek knowledge merely for the sake of appearing wise, but because you recognize that true wisdom is the highest virtue. You read diligently, reflect deeply, and apply what you learn to your daily life. Every book, every conversation, and even every hardship becomes an opportunity for growth. You embrace curiosity as a way of life, never believing you have learned enough. For you know that mastery is an illusion, and learning is an unending journey. Number 2, you are honest with yourself. Self-deception is the enemy of growth, and you refuse to fall into its trap. While others may look away from their flaws, you turn toward them, understanding that real strength comes from acknowledging your weaknesses. You do not rationalize your mistakes or justify your shortcomings. Instead, you confront them with courage and humility. This honesty extends to your emotions, desires, and fears, rather than suppressing or denying them. You analyze and understand them. You know that true self-improvement begins with radical self-awareness, and only by facing the truth, no matter how uncomfortable, can you hope to rise above it. Number 3, you are disciplined. Discipline is the bridge between ambition and achievement, the silent force that turns dreams into reality. As a Stoic, you understand that without discipline, even the greatest intentions are meaningless. You rise early not because it is easy, but because it aligns with your purpose. You work diligently, not for external validation, but for the satisfaction of knowing that you have given your best effort. You resist the temptations of laziness, indulgence, and distraction, for you recognize that true freedom comes not from giving in to fleeting desires, but from mastering them. This is the Stoic virtue of temperance. Self-restraint in the face of excess, the ability to control one's appetites rather than be controlled by them. Your will is your greatest ally, and through discipline, you forge a life of purpose, progress, and inner strength. Number 4, you are guided by reason, not impulse. In a world consumed by instant gratification, where emotions often dictate decisions, you choose a different path, the path of reason. You do not react hastily, nor do you allow fleeting emotions to determine your course of action. Instead, you pause, reflect, and act with intention. You recognize that emotions are natural but not always trustworthy guides. Therefore, you temper them with wisdom. When anger flares, you seek understanding. When fear creeps in, you rely on logic. When desire tempts you toward reckless choices, you remind yourself of what truly matters. This is the Stoic virtue of wisdom, the ability to see clearly, think deeply, and act rightly, even when the world pressures you to do otherwise. You do not follow the crowd or chase after every whim. Rather, you stand firm, anchored in reason, making decisions that align with your values and long-term vision. Through this, you cultivate a mind that is steady, rational, and immune to the chaos of impulse-driven living. Number 5, you embrace discomfort. The Stoic does not pursue a life of ease and luxury. They pursue growth. And growth is forged in the fires of discomfort. You understand that hardship is not an obstacle but a teacher, shaping you into someone stronger, wiser, and more resilient. While others avoid difficulty, you welcome it, for you know that only by stepping outside your comfort zone can you truly evolve. You do not shy away from physical challenges, knowing that the body, like the mind, must be tempered through discipline. Whether it is enduring cold, hunger, fatigue, or physical strain, you recognize that comfort breeds complacency, while adversity cultivates strength. You also embrace intellectual and emotional discomfort, confronting difficult truths, engaging in tough conversations, and challenging your own biases. Like Cato the Younger, who walked barefoot in the streets and wore simple garments to toughen himself against luxury, you see hardship not as suffering, but as training. The world may offer comfort, but you do not seek it. You seek to become unbreakable. Through voluntary hardship, patience in adversity, and an unyielding mindset, you develop the fortitude to withstand any storm life throws your way. Number 6, you are unshaken by criticism. The opinions of others are like leaves in the wind, shifting, fleeting, and ultimately insignificant. You do not live for the approval of the crowd, nor do you shape your actions to fit the expectations of others. You know that external validation is a poor foundation upon which to build a meaningful life. When faced with criticism, you do not react with anger, insecurity, or defensiveness. Instead, you remain steady, recognizing that every opinion is merely a reflection of the speaker's perspective, not an absolute truth. If criticism is valid, you use it as an opportunity for growth. If it is baseless, you dismiss it without a second thought. As Epictetus wisely taught, if anyone tells you that a certain person speaks ill of you, do not make excuses about what is said, but answer, "He was ignorant of my other faults, else he would not have mentioned these alone." This is the mindset of a Stoic. You are neither wounded by insults nor swayed by praise. Your worth is not determined by the applause or disapproval of others, but by the integrity with which you live. You measure yourself not by external judgment, but by your adherence to your values, your commitment to virtue and your own self-respect. While others seek validation from the world, you seek to master yourself, and in doing so you remain unshaken. Number 7, you practice gratitude in all circumstances. A Stoic does not wait for perfect conditions to be grateful. They find gratitude in every moment, even in hardship. You recognize that life is fleeting and unpredictable, and rather than lamenting what you lack, you appreciate what you have. Gratitude is not a denial of suffering. It is a conscious choice to focus on what remains rather than what is lost. You do not take the simple things for granted: the ability to breathe, to think, to love, to experience another day. Even in adversity, you find something to appreciate, whether it is the lesson hidden within difficulty or the opportunity to cultivate inner strength. You know that gratitude is not just an emotion but a discipline, one that shields the mind from despair and anchors you in the present. Seneca wrote, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." You embody this philosophy, understanding that joy is not something to be found in external achievements, wealth, or status, but in your ability to fully embrace the moment. You do not allow yourself to be consumed by regret for the past or anxiety for the future. You focus on what is within your control, and for that, you are grateful. By practicing gratitude, you cultivate a mindset of abundance rather than scarcity, resilience rather than victimhood. While others constantly chase more, you appreciate what is already in front of you. Gratitude then becomes your shield against suffering, your anchor in the storms of life, and your reminder that despite life's challenges, there is always something to be thankful for. Number 8, you are resilient in the face of loss. Loss is an unavoidable part of life, but suffering is a choice. A Stoic understands that nothing truly belongs to them. Not possessions, not relationships, not even their own body. Everything is on loan from the universe, and when the time comes to return it, they do so with grace, not resistance. You do not cling to what is temporary, for you know that attachment to impermanence only leads to suffering. When you lose something or someone dear to you, you do not crumble. Instead, you remind yourself that their presence was a gift, not a guarantee. You cherish what you had, but you do not allow grief to consume you. This is not cold detachment, but rather the highest form of love, one that appreciates without possessing, that embraces without clinging. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This awareness of mortality does not bring fear but clarity. It reminds you to love fully while you can, to express gratitude for those around you, and to live each day with purpose. When adversity strikes, you do not ask, "Why me?" Instead, you say, "This is my test." Loss is not an end, but a transformation, an opportunity to cultivate resilience, wisdom, and acceptance. And so, while others resist the inevitable, you face it with dignity, knowing that nothing truly perishes, but simply changes form. Number 9, you live with purpose. A strong person does not drift aimlessly through life, carried by the whims of circumstance or the expectations of others. You have a purpose, a guiding star that directs your actions and gives meaning to your existence. You do not merely exist, you live with intention, knowing that a life without purpose is a life wasted. Your purpose is not dictated by fleeting desires or external validation, but is rooted in something deeper: virtue, growth, and service. You wake each morning with the awareness that time is your most precious resource, and you refuse to squander it on trivialities. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, reminds us, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." You take these words to heart, treating each day as an opportunity to learn, improve, and contribute to the world around you. Living with purpose means aligning your actions with your values, choosing what is right over what is easy, and dedicating yourself to a cause greater than personal gain. Whether your purpose is to seek wisdom, help others, create, or lead, you pursue it with unwavering commitment. You understand that fulfillment does not come from pleasure alone, but from living in accordance with your higher self. While others wander through life unsure of their direction, you move forward with clarity. You may not always have the answers, but you have the will to seek them. You do not wait for meaning to find you. You create it through discipline, courage, and purpose-driven action. Number 10, you are humble in success. True success does not breed arrogance in you, instead it deepens your humility. You recognize that fortune is unpredictable, and what is given today can be taken tomorrow. No achievement, no wealth, and no recognition defines your worth. The Stoic remains grounded, never allowing external success to cloud their judgment or inflate their ego. You understand that success is not solely the result of your efforts. It is also a product of time, circumstance, and the contributions of those who have helped you along the way. As Seneca wisely warned, no one is more unhappy than the man who has never faced adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself. You do not allow achievements to make you complacent, nor do you look down on those who struggle. Instead, you view success as a responsibility, a chance to uplift others, to lead by example, and to remain steadfast in virtue. Humility keeps you balanced, ensuring that you do not fall into the trap of entitlement. You remain open to learning, knowing that no amount of success makes you immune to mistakes. You measure yourself not by titles or accolades, but by the integrity with which you conduct yourself. While others may chase status and recognition, you remain indifferent to praise and criticism alike. You do not seek applause, nor do you fear its absence. You focus not on appearing great, but on being great, through discipline, wisdom, and a commitment to something greater than yourself. In this way, your humility becomes your strength and your success remains a tool, not a trap. Number 11, you are patient. You understand that true greatness is not achieved overnight. Just as a mighty tree does not sprout in a day, neither does wisdom, virtue, or mastery. You embrace the slow, steady work of self-improvement, knowing that anything of real value takes time to cultivate. Like the Stoic farmer who plants seeds and waits patiently for the harvest, you do not rush the process. You trust in the power of consistency, putting in the effort each day without immediate expectation of reward. You recognize that setbacks and failures are not signs of defeat, but necessary steps on the path to progress. When others grow frustrated and abandon their pursuits, you remain steadfast, knowing that patience is the companion of wisdom. You do not demand instant results or succumb to frustration when things take longer than expected. Instead, you practice perseverance, understanding that mastery in any field, whether it be character, knowledge, or skill, requires dedication over a lifetime. When faced with adversity, you remind yourself that even the greatest minds and strongest souls were forged through years of struggle, learning, and refinement. Patience also extends beyond your personal journey. It shapes how you interact with the world. You do not react impulsively to obstacles or conflicts. Instead, you pause, reflect, and respond with composure. You understand that wisdom is not just about knowing what to do, but knowing when to do it. By cultivating patience, you gain control over your emotions, allowing yourself to act with reason rather than impulse. While the world may rush toward quick fixes and instant gratification, you take the long view. You are not deterred by delays, nor are you discouraged by difficulty. Instead, you move forward with quiet confidence, knowing that time is an ally to those who endure. Number 12. You are compassionate without being consumed. You care deeply for others, recognizing that kindness and empathy are marks of a strong character. Yet, you also understand that to help others, you must first cultivate strength within yourself. Compassion, in its highest form, is not about absorbing the suffering of the world, but about offering guidance, support, and wisdom without losing yourself in the process. The Stoic does not turn away from the pain of others, but meets it with calm resolve. You lend a helping hand where you can, offering comfort and wisdom, but you do not allow the misfortunes of others to overwhelm your own sense of peace. You understand that drowning in another's suffering does not save them. It only weakens your ability to help. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." You embody this by showing compassion even when others do not. You do not let the cruelty of the world harden your heart, nor do you respond to injustice with bitterness. Instead, you remain steady, choosing to act with virtue regardless of how others behave. Your compassion is not sentimental but practical. It is grounded in wisdom. You help where you can, but you do not force change upon those unwilling to receive it. You offer kindness, but you do not expect gratitude. You give, not for recognition, but because it aligns with your principles. Above all, you recognize that your duty is not to fix everything, but to do what is within your power while maintaining your inner peace. You are like a lighthouse, standing strong amidst the storm, offering light to those in need, but never allowing the waves to pull you under. Number 13, you master your emotions. Destructive emotions, anger, envy, fear, are the chains that bind the weak. They cloud judgment, distort perception, and lead to impulsive actions that often cause more harm than good. But you, the Stoic, have learned to break free. You do not deny emotions, nor do you suppress them out of fear. Instead, you master them, understanding that emotions are merely signals, guides to be examined, not masters to be obeyed. You recognize that anger, though often justified, rarely leads to wise decisions. You do not allow it to control you, for you understand that responding with rage is a sign of weakness, not strength. When provoked, you pause, you breathe. You ask yourself whether your response will serve you or merely escalate the situation. By mastering your temper, you gain control over yourself in a way that those ruled by emotion never will. Envy and jealousy hold no power over you, for you see them for what they are, distractions from your own path. You do not waste energy comparing yourself to others, knowing that the success of another takes nothing away from you. Instead, you focus on self-improvement, recognizing that true contentment comes not from external validation, but from inner growth. Fear, too, is something you have learned to face with courage. You do not allow fear of failure, rejection, or uncertainty to paralyze you. You remind yourself, as Marcus Aurelius did, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. You accept that life is unpredictable, that hardships will come, and that worry changes nothing. Instead of fearing the unknown, you prepare for it, knowing that the strongest minds are those that remain steady in the face of uncertainty. By mastering your emotions, you become unshaken. You do not allow fleeting feelings to dictate your actions. You remain calm in chaos, measured in conflict, and resilient in difficulty. Through discipline and self-awareness, you transform emotions from chains that bind you into tools that serve you. Number 14, you find peace in adversity. Life is not fair, and the Stoic knows this better than anyone. Fortune does not favor the righteous, nor does misfortune always strike the guilty. Good people suffer while the undeserving thrive. Yet, you do not despair. You understand that fairness is an illusion, and rather than lamenting life's injustices, you prepare yourself to endure them with strength and dignity. Adversity is not something to be feared, it is something to be embraced. Seneca, the great Roman philosopher, wrote, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." Hardship is not a punishment. It is the forge in which character is shaped. Just as fire strengthens iron, so too does struggle refine the soul. You do not wish for an easy life, for you know that ease breeds weakness, while hardship breeds strength. When faced with misfortune, you do not ask, "Why me?" Instead, you ask, "How can I grow from this?" You do not see obstacles as barriers, but as opportunities to test your resilience. You understand that suffering is inevitable, but how you respond to it is within your control. Some break under the weight of adversity. You, however, become stronger because of it. You do not resist what you cannot change, nor do you waste energy on self-pity. You practice amor fati, the love of fate, accepting each moment, whether joyful or painful, as necessary and meaningful. You trust that every hardship carries a lesson, every setback a hidden opportunity, and every loss a path to deeper wisdom. Because of this mindset, you find peace where others find despair. You are not shaken by life's storms, for you have learned to dance in the rain. While others rage against misfortune, you accept it with grace, knowing that true strength is not avoiding hardship but embracing it with a steady heart. Number 15. You are unattached to material wealth. You enjoy the comforts of life, but you do not cling to them. Wealth, possessions, and status are fleeting, here today, gone tomorrow. The Stoic knows that true wealth lies not in the size of one's purse, but in the richness of one's soul. You understand that material things have their place. They can provide convenience, security, and even enjoyment. But you never allow yourself to become enslaved by them. You do not define yourself by what you own, nor do you let your happiness depend on external luxuries. If fortune grants you wealth, you accept it with gratitude but remain indifferent to its presence. And if misfortune takes it away, you let it go without despair. Seneca, one of the wealthiest Stoics of his time, warned against becoming too comfortable with riches. He frequently practiced voluntary poverty, living for periods as though he had nothing so that he would never fear losing his wealth. You adopt a similar mindset, not out of pessimism but out of wisdom. You train yourself to be content with little, knowing that true happiness is not found in possessions but in inner peace. When you see others chasing wealth at any cost, sacrificing their values and peace of mind for more money, you remain steadfast in your detachment. You recognize that the pursuit of material riches is often a bottomless pit. No amount is ever enough for those who seek fulfillment in gold. You, however, already possess something greater, the ability to be content with what you have. Your true wealth lies in your character, your wisdom, and your ability to find joy in life's simplest pleasures. You know that a person who needs little is richer than the one who has everything but still desires more. Number 16. You accept what you cannot control. A life of peace begins with the wisdom to distinguish between what is within your power and what is not. The Stoic sage Epictetus once said, "Some things are within our power, while others are not." This is the essence of the Stoic dichotomy of control, a guiding principle that allows you to move through life with resilience and serenity. You do not waste energy railing against the inevitable, nor do you torment yourself over things that lie beyond your influence. You accept that there will always be events you cannot control: illness, loss, the actions of others, the whims of fate. But instead of despairing over these things, you turn your attention inward, focusing on what you can change: your thoughts, your actions, and your reactions. You do not try to control people, for you understand that their choices are their own. You do not cling to outcomes, for you recognize that expectations often lead to disappointment. You do not demand that life be fair, for you know that fairness is a human construct, not a universal law. Instead, you cultivate a mindset of adaptability, ready to face whatever life brings with a steady heart. This does not mean you are passive. On the contrary, you take full responsibility for your life. You work hard, strive for excellence, and act with purpose. But you do so with the awareness that while effort is within your control, the results are not. If success comes, you embrace it with gratitude. If failure arises, you accept it with grace, knowing that you did all that was within your power. By focusing only on what you can control, you free yourself from unnecessary suffering. You no longer fear the unpredictable nature of life, for you have made peace with uncertainty. You understand that no matter what happens, you always retain one unshakable power, the ability to choose your response, and in that choice lies true freedom. Number 17, you are courageous. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. Fear is a natural part of life, an instinct embedded within us to signal danger. But you, the Stoic, do not allow fear to control you. Instead, you face it with a steady heart, knowing that most fears are but shadows on the wall of your mind, illusions magnified by hesitation and uncertainty. True courage is not reckless bravado or blind defiance. It is the ability to act rightly despite fear, to move forward even when the path is uncertain. The Stoic does not seek danger for its own sake, but neither do they flee from it when duty calls. You recognize that fear is often a signpost pointing toward growth. You step into the discomfort, knowing that bravery is not something you are born with, but something you cultivate through practice and discipline. When challenges arise, you do not shrink back. You remind yourself that adversity is temporary, but the strength you gain from overcoming it lasts forever. You do not let the fear of failure prevent you from trying, for you know that true failure is not in falling, but in refusing to rise again. You also understand that courage is not only needed in grand, heroic moments, it is required in everyday life. It takes courage to stand up for what is right when others remain silent. It takes courage to admit when you are wrong, to take responsibility for your actions, to pursue your dreams. Despite the risk of failure, the Stoic knows that courage is not always loud. Sometimes it is the quiet strength of persistence, the resilience to keep going when others give up. As you walk the path of wisdom, you make courage your constant companion. You train your mind to remain unshaken, to embrace the unknown with confidence and to act with integrity even when it is difficult. For as Seneca said, sometimes even to live is an act of courage. Number 18, you are mindful of your mortality. Memento mori. Remember that you must die. This is not a morbid thought, but a liberating one. The Stoic practice of contemplating mortality is not meant to bring despair, but to sharpen your awareness of life's fleeting nature, compelling you to live with greater purpose and urgency. You do not fear death, for you understand that it is the natural conclusion of all life. Every breath you take brings you one step closer to your final moment, and rather than denying this truth, you embrace it. You recognize that death is not something to be avoided or postponed indefinitely, but a reality to be accepted with grace. The Stoic does not waste time fearing the inevitable. Instead, they use the awareness of death to live more fully. By keeping mortality in mind, you free yourself from procrastination and trivial concerns. You do not squander your days in idleness, nor do you chase after meaningless distractions. You understand that every moment is a gift, and you refuse to waste it on petty conflicts, superficial pursuits, or anxieties over things beyond your control. Instead, you focus on what truly matters: virtue, wisdom, and the meaningful connections you cultivate with others. You do not wait for the right time to pursue your dreams or express your love to those who matter to you. You act now, knowing that tomorrow is never guaranteed. You do not hold grudges or cling to past regrets, for you recognize that time is too precious to be wasted on bitterness. You live each day as though it were your last, not recklessly, but with intention, gratitude, and purpose. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." The Stoic takes these words to heart, using the reality of death as a compass for living wisely. You walk through life with the awareness that your time is limited, and because of this, you make each moment count. Rather than seeing death as an end, you see it as a reminder, a call to wake up, to be present, to embrace life fully while you still have it. For you know that when the final moment comes, the greatest peace lies in knowing you lived well. Number 19, you are a beacon of calm in chaos. When others panic, you remain calm. In a world filled with uncertainty, fear, and turmoil, your presence is a steadying force, a reminder that even in the midst of chaos, there exists a center of peace. The Stoic understands that external events are beyond control, but the way one responds to them is a matter of choice. While the masses are swept away by anxiety and hysteria, you stand firm, grounded in reason and clarity. You do not allow emotions to dictate your actions, nor do you react impulsively to crises. Instead, you pause, observe, and respond with deliberate thoughtfulness. Your composure is not the result of ignorance or indifference, but of discipline. You train yourself to face adversity with a calm mind, knowing that panic serves no purpose. You recognize that most situations, no matter how dire, are temporary, and that maintaining inner stability is the key to navigating life's storms. In times of trouble, others look to you for guidance, for your unshaken presence reassures them. You do not add to the chaos with fear-driven reactions. Rather, you bring clarity and wisdom, helping others find their footing when the ground beneath them seems to tremble. Your ability to remain calm stems from your understanding of the Stoic principle that nothing external has power over your mind unless you allow it. You remind yourself, as Marcus Aurelius did, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and you have the power to revoke this at any moment. By embodying tranquility in the face of turmoil, you do not merely benefit yourself. You serve as a guiding light for those around you, proving that serenity is a choice, even when the world seems to be falling apart. Number 20. You strive for virtue above all else. At the core of your being, you seek to live a life of virtue, wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. These are not mere ideals, but the foundation upon which you build your existence. To the Stoic, virtue is the highest good, the ultimate measure of a life well lived. Wisdom is your guiding light, allowing you to see the world clearly and act with discernment. You seek knowledge not for vanity, but to understand yourself and the universe more deeply. You ask questions, reflect on your actions, and learn from both success and failure. You do not blindly follow the crowd, but think independently, ensuring that your choices align with reason and truth. Courage is the strength that drives you forward, allowing you to stand firm in the face of fear and uncertainty. Whether it is the courage to speak the truth, to face adversity with dignity, or to remain steadfast in your convictions, you embody resilience. You do not shy away from challenges or difficult decisions, for you know that true strength is revealed in moments of hardship. Justice is the principle that ensures you act with fairness and integrity. You do not seek personal gain at the expense of others, nor do you turn a blind eye to wrongdoing. You treat all people with dignity and respect, knowing that true honor comes from upholding what is right, even when it is difficult. You remember the words of Marcus Aurelius, "Do the right thing, the rest doesn't matter." Temperance is the discipline that keeps your desires in check, preventing excess and imbalance. You do not indulge in fleeting pleasures at the cost of your long-term well-being. You practice self-control in all things, speech, actions, consumption, understanding that true freedom comes not from giving in to every impulse, but from mastering them. Your commitment to virtue is not dependent on external rewards or recognition. You do not seek applause for your actions, nor do you fear criticism. You pursue virtue for its own sake, knowing that it is the only true path to a fulfilled and meaningful life. To strive for virtue above all else is to live in alignment with the natural order of the universe. It is the mark of a soul that seeks not wealth, fame, or comfort, but wisdom and excellence. And when your time comes to leave this world, you will do so with peace, knowing that you lived with honor, courage, and integrity. These signs are not mere traits. They are the hallmarks of a life lived with Stoic resolve. They are the whispers of your inner strength, urging you to rise above the noise and chaos of the world. Let us not be content with mediocrity. Let us strive for greatness, not the kind that is measured by wealth or fame, but the kind that is forged in the quiet moments of self-mastery. As Seneca so powerfully declared, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult. Dare then to be strong. Dare to be stoic. The world needs your light now more than ever, and keep shining, keep exploring. Until next, see you soon in next video."